Right, 20 March 2021. And today I want to quickly go into the discussion that I have here. I want to talk about the current state of housing in Zimbabwe, especially among young people. So I've been talking about business over the past few weeks, and I think today what I'm going to say is going to be very, very interesting because I know every one of the people that are in the diaspora are very, very interested in how they can get a house in Zimbabwe. There is a great appetite for Zimbabweans abroad who want to have a house in Zimbabwe, especially in Harare. So you remember that last year we started a project where we invited people to come and become part of a housing project that we wanted to start in Bulawayo. And in one day, our WhatsApp groups filled up and we didn't have space at all in the WhatsApp groups because there's so much appetite among Zimbabweans to have a house in Harare, and especially in Harare. The problem that is there is that people are getting scammed. So when people try to buy a house in Harare, either they're buying a stand that is not properly registered, or they're buying a house that is not properly registered, they end up losing their money. So that appetite is there to have a house in Harare. Also, the cost is prohibitive. Many people that want to have a house in Harare, they find it very, very difficult to buy a house. So we're trying to solve that problem. And I know we're going to be able to solve that problem, especially for the people that have been following Gambakwe Media and for those that need a cheap alternative, but which is also going to give you something that you can be proud of. So let's start with what I put here as a heading. What is the state of housing in Harare? Who's got a house in Harare? Who's got a mansion? If you look at the kind of places that are there in Harare, that is Chihuri's mansion. And this is obviously the Blue Roof mansion. That's Mugabe and Grace. And then this one is Idi Mnangagwa's rural home. This is Jinimbi. This is Xavier Kasukuwere. And this is Chamisa. Apparently someone says that this is Chamisa's house. And then obviously there are a lot of people who've got property in Zimbabwe. As I said, the appetite for property is very, very high. And remember what I said, the trend going forward in the next 10 years, it's for Zimbabweans to go back home to Zimbabwe because things are changing, especially for the guys who are in South Africa. It's not going to be easy here. So the trend is to go back to Zimbabwe. But when you go, you obviously want to have a place, a decent place where you live in Harare. So the politicians have been doing it. Look at people that I've shown you now. Look at Grace. She's got a big house in Zimbabwe. Chiwenga, Seveka Sukwere, Changira had a house. Mnangagwa, Chamisa, Obed Mpofu. Tokozani Kupe has got a massive house in Bulawayo. Tendai Biti has got a massive house in Harare. He also has a massive house in his rural home. Peter Njov, Benjani, Jinimbi, Fungisai. Fungisai is always showing a house when she's doing her lives. Prophets like Makandiwa, Magaya. These guys have got big houses in Harare. They are living in these places. Most of these people are established. They got these houses many years ago. But if you also look at the new guys, the popular guys that you know, they don't have houses. If you look at someone like Madam Boss, she's very, very popular. She's got endorsement deals. But I was watching one of her lives a few months ago. I think it's about a month ago. where she was saying she's trying to build a house in Masasa, but the building has been taking so long that there was rain which came and messed up the roofing, and they had to redo the roofing. If you look at all the young professionals, the soccer players, the people that you know that are popular, they don't have a house in Harare. And these are the important things that people want. Someone wants to graduate from school and they get a house. And I know you guys who are in Zimbabwe especially, you've been struggling with this. How do I get myself a proper property where I can live with my family? When I was staying in Harare, I used to live, when I started working, I was a professional young manager. I first lived in Glenview 7, and I was living in a room inside a house. That was not ideal. Then I moved to the avenues, and I was sharing a house with other people. That was not ideal. Then I moved to Rua, and I was staying at Rua there by the lower density suburb. I can't remember the name there, just by Zimri Park. And it was still not ideal. The drive was too long, and sometimes when there's no petrol, it wasn't working. So it was not an ideal situation. And when I tried to get myself a property, it became even more and more difficult. And if you are that kind of a young professional in Zimbabwe, it's very, very difficult for you to get a house. And I think this is one of the most important things, to have your own house, not just a normal house, like a house that is around 100,000 US dollars or 1.5 million rands. That is what everyone is aspiring to have as a medium income professional. It's a sign of stability. It's a sign of a wealth. You've created something, and also it's a sign of a community. So you can belong to a community. If you've got a house, you've got something that you own. So this is a very, very big issue among young professionals in Zimbabwe. And I'm talking here of at least 2 to 3 million people who are affected by this problem. It's even worse for the guys in the diaspora, because the guys in the diaspora, they want to have something back home, but they do not have it. They do not know how to do this. And you can't look at government to solve this kind of a problem. You can't expect the government to ever build a house for a guy who is coming from the diaspora. So the solution has to be a collective investment scheme of some sort. So the guys in the diaspora have to organize themselves, and then the government has to chip in and provide the land. So my thinking is, if the guys in the diaspora could get together, gather cash, and then the government could then be, you tell the government that we've got this certain amount of money that we've raised. Now provide us with the land and provide us with the permits to be able to develop this kind of houses. This is the model that we wanted to take last year. But unfortunately, the biggest problem is, if you take an approach that is a committee approach, it won't work. You have to get an approach where a person or a group that is really, really focused, they approach and negotiate with the government. And then the rest of the guys will come in under those guys, and you develop some sort of a mixed use piece of property. So you don't really need a big farm. You need something where you can develop private residences and also have business inside those. You have schools, you have churches, you have all those kind of things. I think the guys who saw the position paper we developed last year, you understand what I'm talking about. The biggest problem we had last year was that a few individuals started to want to make it a socialist or a community project. And I think a community project does not work. It has to be a purely financial project. So if the government was to provide land, that should end there. It cannot now become a government project, because nothing can work that way. So it will have to be a situation where the government provides the land and the development is taken over by the guys in the diaspora. Right, so I think I've said a lot about the concept. The demand for housing, very, very high. The trend going forward is that people are going to want to go back to Zimbabwe, especially guys in the diaspora. And this is something that needs to be developed. And what we've done is, and I want to wrap up now, what we've done is we've obviously thought about the experience that we had in the past, and we have opened a club, right? A Gambakwe Housing Projects Club on our YouTube channel. And I want you guys to go and have a look at that. Last week, I asked you guys to look at it, but unfortunately, it was not yet completely open. So the club is now open, and go and have a look and see if you're interested in something like that. And we're going to be developing this as we go forward. The end result is we're obviously going to look at a target. The last target we're looking at was about $1 million, which is about 15 million rands. So that is the objective of this club that we're going to be opening. So go to Gambakwe YouTube channel and have a look. If you're interested, click on that button, which is written join, and have a look. We're going to be developing this idea going forward with the idea that within the next 2 years, we're going to have a solid club. We'll collect back all the people that we had managed to put in our WhatsApp groups, and then we develop a proper club with a lot of money. Then we approach the government for land. That is the plan as it is right now. If that doesn't work, we should obviously, if we have enough people, be able to buy our own land. So I think that is what I wanted to say today. Go and have a look at the Gambakwe YouTube channel and look at the join button. If you're in the diaspora, $100 is nothing. I spend more than $100 when I go to the movies every month. And if we come together, we can work out something. I want to show you something very, very sad. Right? If you look on the screen now, I saw this, and this is the late Tongai Moyo's house. This is what he was building before he died. And you know how popular Tongai Moyo was. He's a guy that was known all over the country. He was, in fact, he used to go and sing for Zimbabweans all over the country. But by the time he died, I understand that is what he had built. Many of us here, the guys who are in the diaspora, between 40 and 60. If you do not make a plan now, Tongai Moyo will be having a better house than what we have. By the time you retire, this is probably what you're going to have, or worse. Or you end up living in a high density area when you came from the diaspora. I don't think that is a very, very good thing. So let me look quickly at the comments before I go. Right. So they should buy small houses. Right. This is a very big question. I like your question, Tabo Junior Mawaleka. The houses that the guys are building, like say Vekasukuere with 50 bedrooms. Makandi always buy building on top of a mountain. The houses that these guys are building, they've got no commercial value. So if you build a house like what Xavier Kasukuere has built, or what Chiangwa has built, that house has no commercial value. When you die, no one will be able to buy that house. You lose everything that you put in there. The best way to build a house is a mixed use sort of development. If you go to South Africa, or if you come to South Africa, this is what they're doing now, where the house is small, but the community is rich. So there's so much around your house that it doesn't matter that your house is small. And this is what is lacking in Zimbabwe. You also need a gated community where there's security, where you've got shared or common amenities. So the big houses are not cool, but the small houses are also not cool. What is needed is something that grows. So every month, if you've got a house in a complex, how many complexes are there in Zimbabwe? How many people are living in a complex? who is going to develop that? If you're not careful, the Chinese are going to come. And the Chinese are very fast. If you come to South Africa now, they are building these huge complexes. In 6 months, they have built it. And then you pay them and they go. What is the quality of that complex in 20 years, in 30 years' time? And who has taken that money for the construction, for the bricks, for the labor, for the engineering? You see, so this is where we need to be looking at what is supposed to be done so that you develop the wealth within your own community. Because when you have a house, it's not just you, it's also what you have managed to give to the communities around us. So the big houses are not cool. The guys who are building the big houses, well, for the popular people, it's fine, but not for everybody. And Mpo, how are you, Mpo? How's it? And then let's look at Kainos Chipaze. He's saying Chamisa is not a topic. Here is Chamisa's house. I showed you just now. Chamisa has got a house. If he's president or not, he's got someone to live. But most of you guys, you're just going to be saying Chamisa Chete Chete, and then you don't have anywhere to live. Tendai BT has got a house. He's got a house here in Johannesburg. I've seen him driving to that house. And probably I've heard someone saying he's got a house in the United States. Politicians are doing it. It's the ordinary people that are suffering. So if you're always thinking about politics, it will get you nothing. We can change 10 presidents, but if you do not think about how to organize yourself in a collective way, financially, then you achieve nothing. The biggest problem with Zimbabweans is we own nothing. So wherever we go, no matter how many Zimbabweans are in a place, we don't own anything. And back home, we don't own anything. So if you look at most guys in the UK, they bought trucks, they bought combis. Most of those are broken down. Some of them bought stands, which they try to develop. There's nothing collective that has been done. So what you need to do is to change the way we organize ourselves. We need to be more collective in our approach, in the way we approach how we do things. In South Africa, there are 4 million Zimbabweans. We don't even have one insurance company to insure our cars. So imagine if a Zimbabwean company had come here and said, I'm insuring all the companies. So every Zimbabwean is paying at least 1,000 rands a month. How much is that if multiplied by 4 million people? Okay, let's say 1 million people have got cars, or let's say 500,000 people. How much is that if you insure all your cars within the Zimbabwean community in a Zimbabwean insurance company? Medical aid, an average family pays 5,000 rands. What do we own as Zimbabweans which can give us money collectively? Nothing. You're buying cars on finance. From which bank? From which financier? Why not come together? The terms are so bad. The interest rates are so bad. I'm sure it's the same everywhere else. So we have to change the way we think. Let's look at Riza. Looking for a good, affordable architect who can draw me a big 10-bedroom mansion. Okay, you can call me. I'll tell you. I'll show you people who draw very, very cheaply. Right, Knox Kalemba. Which government do you give money, Mr. Gambakwe, for the land? People will lose money. Right, Knox. If you have money, if you organize yourself and you raise 10 million rands, if you go to Mnangagwa today and say, we want land, they'll give you a farm. But if you go and you're looking for a farm and you've got nothing, they won't give you. Believe me, they will give you because they're looking for investors. Mickey, you become serious like you're talking sense while just making TikTok. I don't think you've got a house, Mickey. And in fact, the thing about me, I don't talk what I'm not talking, what I don't know. I've built quite a number of places in Harare, in Zimbabwe. If you go to my village, I made it a point that it's up to a standard where if I just go there, I'm good. I've got a place in Zimbabwe. It's not like I'm talking for myself. I want, obviously, to do much better, but this is not for me. This is for a lot of other people. Is it only Zimbabweans allowed Gambakwe? Yes, Mpome. Unfortunately, Mupeme, unfortunately, it's only Zimbabweans. This is for a project for Zimbabwe, for Zimbabweans. high income earners. So we're not looking right now at low income earners. We're looking for high income earners, where the problem with the lower end of the market. And I think that is where the government needs to chip in. But if you're a high income earner and you're in the diaspora, this is the kind of thing that we want you to do. Mampofu, are you looking for a project manager? No, not at the moment. This will be later. Prudence Zumbunu, TCA Tiriku Nash TV live. Did you know that the Nash TV guy is failing to pay his rent? Right, go look for that story on Zimbabwe. So you can watch Nash TV help him pay his rent. Let's go a bit down. Somebody can just steal your land, even if you own the title. That's true. In Zimbabwe, we need to organize this. The situation is bad. The land ownership there, especially the situation that's happening where someone owns a farm, and then the next time someone says they've allocated the farm. I don't think that is okay. This is what happened at Ndabazunduna, and I think it also happened somewhere in the middle, in the Manikale, if I'm not mistaken. Today you sound good without Vanessa. Jonasi is coming tomorrow. Sorry, it's coming on Monday, and tomorrow I'll probably have the MDC chairman for South Africa, Trust Njovu, and on Monday I'll probably have Mr. Mandaza of ZANU-PF. So, guys, politics is not everything. Politics is okay, but you don't eat politics. So you do politics, but you also have to do business. This is what I've been telling guys. In the next 10 years, things are going to dramatically change in Zimbabwe. You are not going to be worried about who is in office, because what you're going to see is the day when the opposition guys come in, you're immediately going to try to get them out, because they're not your problem. The problem is the structural issues in the Zimbabwean economy. The Zimbabwean economy does not create value. I just explained to you now about houses. If you build a 50-bedroom house, you're not creating value. There's no commercial value in that house. If you take Kaskuere's house and he builds a 10 apartment, 3-bedroom apartment complex in Harare, that is value creation. But people like Kaskuere, the way they got their money is what is causing them to build a 50-bedroom house. He got the money, he was surprised, didn't have a plan. He goes and buys, he builds a 50-bedroom mansion. Jinimbi, he builds a house in Domboshawa that has got no commercial value. He could have easily built student accommodation in Mount Pleasant. He could easily have built 10 houses and young people would have rented those houses. So the big houses that they're building, no commercial value at all. And that is the problem that we have. Then let's go and, guys, I need to wrap this up. So look at the Gambakwe YouTube channel. If you're in the diaspora, I need you guys to join. This is not the housing project. This is the membership. We want to have membership. If you join, I'm going to see you. We're going to get in touch and we start creating a group, because politics is not the end game. The end game is for us to do something collective, something in the residential market, in the real estate market. I told you there's so many sectors that are going to open up in the banking market, in the financial services, in mining. The guys in ZANU-PF, they know what they're doing according to their level. But you can get to another level where you're not looking at the politicians. So much of Zimbabwe's world is being exploited by South Africans. The platinum industry in Zimbabwe is dominated by South Africans. The gold sector, the diamond sector. If you look at the financial sector, Standard Bank, Nedbank, the retail sector, Pick and Pay. OK Zimbabwe is owned by Investec. It's a serious problem. We buy groceries from South Africa, and the money that we're making in Zimbabwe is going back to South Africa. So you've got a structural problem in the economy. You also have the issue of not having cash in the bank. That is a problem. If someone can't withdraw cash, it's a problem. You also have the issue of all the materials that are being used in Zimbabwe are being bought in South Africa. A person who's building a house, I've got a friend, he built a house for 2 million rands. Everything from the tiles, the only thing that he made in Zimbabwe was the bricks. The tiles, the paint, the window frames, the roofing, even the planks, I think they came from down here. That is why Zimbabwe is not doing well. You are failing to produce even small things that you should be able to produce in Zimbabwe, and then you develop. But if we get together and start working collectively, you can do the politics later, but you need to do this part first. Think about yourself. What is it that I need? Because some of the problems we're having with the diaspora is because people have nothing in Zimbabwe. And they think that if the current government leaves, they will have something, which unfortunately is not true. What you need to do is to be organized first. Right, guys, I need to end this discussion here. Every Saturday, I'll be coming to talk business. Remember, the guys from the Zimbabwe Postgraduate Network, we used to talk about this. I started this channel in 2013. And I tell you, 2013 is a long way from now. And now we're in 2021. That means it's over 7 years. In 2010, I went to the United States of America. And I spent 2 weeks there. I was walking around. There are people that are sleeping homeless in the bush in the United States of America. It doesn't matter where you are. If your brain is not thinking about how to develop yourself, you won't do well, no matter where we put you. So first, we have to change the way we think, and then you will see. If you change the way you think, you do well, no matter where you are. Right. And I think what we need to do, guys, is let's not be afraid of ZANU-PF. We need to engage those guys, especially from a financial point of view, from a professional point of view. A guy from ZANU-PF is just like you. We've got ZANU-PF guys here in South Africa who are not working, but ZANU-PF guys here in South Africa who also want things to do well. But first, we need to organize ourselves as Zimbabweans. And then we can talk about politics from one side. Because there's no place without politics. Even in South Africa, there's politics. But you'll never see a South African turning against their own country because of politics. What I'm seeing here, guys, is making me very, very sad. If you're in South Africa, I just want you to drive around. Go to any place where there's a builder's warehouse or where there's a traffic light. In the past month, the number of people that are standing at traffic lights have multiplied by at least 4 or 5 times in the past month. I don't know how they're getting here. It's terrible. The situation is getting bad. It's embarrassing. And we need to sort out this thing. So we need to organize ourselves. We need to work on the business. At the same time, the political guys need to work together. They need to make things work because young people are struggling, especially the young people that are here in South Africa. So please go to Gambakwe Media. In fact, go to Gambakwe YouTube channel and look for the join button. We're going to have a club, a housing project club, and it's starting at 1,500 rands a month. This is not for low-income earners. This is for high-income earners. So if 1,500 rands is too much for you, this is not for you. About $100 a month. So every week, every Saturday, I'll be here, and we're going to start inviting guests. We've got someone in Harare who's going to be talking to us about real estate every week. We're organizing everything. And I hope that within 2 years, we'll be back to where we were with the projects that we already planned. It's very hard to get land in Zimbabwe, especially in Harare, but it can be done, especially if we work with the right people. So this is what I wanted to say today, and I hope that we can get this going and we can develop this. And I want to end with this comment here. The greatest poverty is in our mind. We need to shift, we need a paradigm shift of the mind. I agree with you. And thank you very much, everyone who was watching. I'll be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow, I need to get a guest. I hope that my guest manages to come back to come and talk to us. We're talking to MDC chairman for South Africa, Trustnilov. I hope that you'll be able to get hold of him online. If I don't, I'm going to personally drive to his house and then we'll talk to him over there. Thank you very much for watching, and please share this message to as many people as possible.